And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Always a busy day, and now just the countdown is on. It's 3 weeks away now from being in Nashville, Tennessee at Country Radio Seminar 2025. And you guys will see us in the media room. And there's about 30 artists that already have it registered out there. And of course, just excited to get out there and have a host of conversation with some of the best in the business out there, your 90s country stars, all the way up to the existing male and females doing it today out there, too. And one of my favorites here, we get to take a break from country music a little bit, too, which is always great. But I love blending in a little bit of that pop sound, and she's always been a show favorite. Always welcome her back here to the platform. She's actually going to be an official sponsor of CRS 2025. Miss Olivia Rox to the program. The brand new album is super cool songs, and we got a whole lot to talk about. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
It is good to see you. It's been a hot minute too, hasn't it?
It is. I know we were just talking about how crazy the weather and everything is going on where you are. You have the deep freeze with the snow and everything. And then out here, I'm in Los Angeles and all the fires and everything that's been going on. It's just insane.
Well, my heart goes out to you guys because we got the white patch of stuff. And it was like, no, not really the freeze stuff we're used to down here, but snow in Texas. I mean, outside of the last, what they say, 60, 65 years, which are records, I never thought I was going to see the white powder here in Texas as thick as it was because it took a couple of days for it to defrost a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, my aunt is in Texas and she was sending us photos of like the babies playing in the snow and everything. And I'm like, where are you? Where'd you go? She goes, it's here. And they also have family in Florida. So she's sending us photos of Florida in snow too. We're like, this is crazy.
Well, my heart, my prayers and everything. I was been thinking about you guys, you and Tamara and the whole family out there too for what you guys mean to the show, what you guys mean to the music industry. And so I kept you guys, family, everybody in my prayers who was out near Los Angeles and California, all that, to hear those terrible, just tragic news stories of those wildfires and how many people it affected out there. All your blue collar workers, celebrities, everyone out there who had homes in that area. I mean, I feel for the losses, we've gone, our thing is always hurricane season down here at the Gulf Coast. You always worry about that too. And honestly, we've seen it firsthand. And I just don't know. Mother Nature is just something you can never argue with or play around with. They're going to do what they're going to do. And I hope you guys in the recovery process, everybody helps each other, gives a shirt off the back and the Red Cross comes through too. Everybody donate. Cause I know a lot of the NFL was big on this too for the Red Cross. A lot of your professional sports organizations have stepped up too at the same time. So definitely, how were you guys affected? Talk about that too, because this new album, super cool songs. I want to lead in on this too, because this was supposed to come out, if I remember, January 10th. You and I were doing a show that week on the actual release day and the whole premiere. And you had to wait a couple of weeks out after what you guys went through. Tell me about just how you're upholding, health-wise and, of course, family-wise, materialistic things. And, of course, now the album is out across all the digital streaming platforms.
Well, thank God our house was pretty much unaffected. We did have 2 giant redwoods fall on the house, and we were literally standing 4 feet away when that happened because we were having 100-mile-an-hour winds. And we just hear this giant crash, and we all sort of froze. And we look right out we were standing in this room and we look out the window, and literally at the window is like the tip of the tree. So we were just literally 4 feet from it. So if it was a little taller, we would have been very injured, but we were all okay. And we had 2. So it was like that happened and we're like, all right, we'll deal with it in the morning. It was late at night. Couldn't really do anything at that point anyway. And then the next morning we hear another thud. And my dad, again, was standing outside. He was looking at the tree that had just fallen the night before, trying to assess the damage. And he walks away literally for like 1 minute, comes back, starts walking in, and the tree falls. Like, just crazy. But as far as fires and everything, our whole neighborhood really came together. And we all have pool pumps for firefighters. So we all were setting those up. We could see the smoke just right above us, which was terrifying. And we didn't really have power. So power kept going in and out, and it was very sporadic. And so it was that fear of like, okay, we have to pack up our house basically of all the valuables because we're evacuating, but everything's dark and we don't know where everything is because it's pitch black in our house. And it was wild. I think I was sort of numb to it and very stressed out for a couple, 2 weeks. It's basically been ongoing. We just finally got rain this weekend, which was such a blessing, helping out with all the fires, but they kept popping up. It was like one would start to get contained and another one would start. So it was just terrifying. And I'm just so I mean, we were really, really lucky. So, you know, I don't have wood here, but knock on wood, because there were so many people and friends who lost everything, and I'm just devastated by this.
Yeah, and my again, continued prayers, support if you can. Like I said, go to
Yeah.
those pages out there, the Red Cross, and of course everybody that was doing things, benefits out there for all the victims out there in California. Our prayers are with them, and definitely the recovery process now underway, and definitely one of those things that is definitely going to be just jarring over the next few weeks and months as you guys continue to recover. But let's talk about the fun stuff here too, because I think we all need
Yeah.
an album such as
Yeah.
super cool songs, and you notice how I transition into that too, because everything changes. Now we start getting into some great music too, and of course, Bubble Pop, which is a fun tune out there too. Tell us all about this record now that it's out across all the
Yes.
DSPs, and of course, I love every song on here. Got to listen to it very much in depth.
Well, this album, this was like the accumulation of quite a few years actually. And my mom and I, we actually produced it 100% ourselves, which was pretty cool for us because in the past we do work as a family unit, but we've worked with my dad, we've worked with other producers, and this was kind of our first time going out on our own, doing a full album together. And it was so much fun. We got to record some of this at Abbey Road Studios in London. I think we talked a little bit about Fail Forward in Hollywood last time I was on the show, which are on this album, which is cool. So I got to bring those onto there. But it also, the name sort of came about pretty funny, because I'm not going to be like, oh, these are really cool songs. We actually we did some recording in Los Angeles, and then we took a transatlantic cruise to London because we were like, hey, you know what? We'll be like, used to the jet lag and everything. We won't have to deal with any of that. It actually did the opposite effect. We were just jet lagged for 2 weeks. But we finally arrived in London. We were like recording on the boat in our cabin. We had a whole setup. And our engineer in Los Angeles had named the folder of working songs Super Cool Songs. We had no idea because we were working on other stuff. So when we get to London, the engineers there are like, oh, we really love your album title. That's a cool title. We're like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, but it was
I love it too.
Just so fun.
It's fun music. I mean, there's things such as Pheromones is on there, Ignite. I mentioned, Bubble Pop and things like that too. And then what a cool song with Everything Changes. Let's start right there before we get into some live performances here. But what a great song to lead off a record.
Thank you. And it's pretty apropos with everything going on right now.
Sure, yes.
Yeah, but I wrote that song, and we wanted to start the production with it with the needle drop, because it's literally sonically a literal interpretation of Everything Changes, right? Because music used to be an experience. You used to put an album on and you'd listen to the vinyl and you'd sit there doing nothing else but listening to that album, because that was what your attention was focused on. And now I think sometimes music becomes a little bit set in the background. You're doing other things, you have your AirPods in or whatever, and you don't necessarily take that time to just sit and listen to an album. So just having that little vinyl drop on there was sort of us saying, all right, listen to the record, just focus on the music and get into this experience, because it takes you on a journey. It's a full cohesive vibe once you get into the album. So that song sort of started it with that. And then as far as lyrically, I wrote this song about I was going through big changes, and it was really it was a hard time in my life that I wrote about. And it was the first like real raw, tender feeling where I was like, all right, things are changing. I don't want them to change, but they're going to change regardless. You can't, stop the wind from blowing, and you can't, stop the tide from going in and out. It's the way that the world works. There's change. Things end and things begin, and you can't have new beginnings without endings. So that's what that song was really about. Like, this is a new beginning. I've been through a lot in my career, in my music, and in my life. I've had like 5 lives, and I'm 26. I just turned 26. But I've done a lot for a 26-year-old. So that's sort of what that was about.
Oh, I feel that every day. They say age is just a number, but you're turning 45 next month, and I'm starting to go, this is getting interesting. I'm like halfway to 90. Can I make it to 90? I'm like, this is 45 years. I'm going, yeah, this is getting real interesting too. But I tell you what, we're going to take a quick time out here too. You got a couple of live performances too. What 2 songs are we going to hear today? I think the audience would like to know.
Yeah. I'm going to do, well, you mentioned Ignite. I was going to do that one for you. And one of my favorites on the album, which was a last minute addition before it came out, I Told You Not to Fall in Love with Me.
Ooh, all right. So we get to have a little fun with that. Some more Olivia Rox music, proud sponsor of CRS 2025. We'll be there February 19th and 21st doing our show live at the Omni Hotel right there too in beautiful downtown Nashville, Tennessee. And of course, a slew of artists. I'm talking 90s country stars from the Oak Ridge Boys to Shenandoah to a whole lot more going to be there. T.G. Shepherd, T. Graham Brown, and the list just goes on and on for the next few weeks there too. 35 or 40 shows coming up there over that 2.5-day period. And of course, we'll be out and about at concerts. And also we got to bring up too, we're going to talk about this. It's Olivia Rox Adventures in Time, Book 1, The Accidental Tourist. I have my copy out there too. So make sure you guys log on to wherever you find Amazon and bookstores and where it's available out there too, oliviarox.com. And of course, we're going to be telling a lot of people about that at CRS 2025 out there too at the same time. Great stories. We'll talk about this, and I love it because it's definitely really, really good stuff out there, too. She's a great author. We'll talk about the novel and a whole lot more out there, too. Quick break. Performances coming up here, too, as well. KKTC True Country 99.9 and powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. Back in a flash. Stay tuned.
The Caden Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at thecadengordonshow.com. Again, that is thecadengordonshow.com.
And it's a great scientific discovery, too, right here. If you guys can check it out here, it's Adventures in Time from our guest today, Olivia Rox. I know on the audio side you can't see it, but you can go get it. Olivia Rox Adventures in Time, Book 1, The Accidental Tourist out there, and check out the new album, super cool songs across all the digital streaming platforms. And speaking of super cool songs, Olivia's here with us, and she's going to perform one of those super cool songs right now. It's all yours, my friend. Take it away.
Awesome. All right. This one I'm going to do for you is called Ignite.
Here we go.
I don't want the freeze-dried romance. I need the fire, I need the flame. Everyday life can be so boring. No, I want it to be the same. Take me on a journey, high above, making everything I'm dreaming of. Give me your obsession, all your love won't change. I just wanna be your queen, your everything tonight. 'Cause I've seen the chemistry between us, making everything right. I don't want that cookie cutter day house. White walls 'cause you couldn't pick a shade. Neighbors all smile with plastic faces. I don't think I could live that way. Take me on a journey, high above, making everything I'm dreaming of. Give me your obsession, all your love won't change. Well, I just wanna be your queen, your everything tonight. 'Cause I've seen the chemistry between us, making everything ignite. I just wanna be your queen, your everything tonight. 'Cause I've seen the chemistry between us, making everything ignite. I don't want that freeze-dried romance. I need the fire, I need the flame. 'Cause everyday life can be so boring. No, I don't think I could live that way. That's Ignites.
See, I get caught up in the music. I forget I'm doing a show. That's the thing about it. It's just like driving in your truck outside. Like I said, going down the road with this new album, super cool songs. That was Ignite. And of course, another one coming up here in a little bit too. And I forget I'm hosting a global podcast here on these stations out there too. Again, KKTC, True Country 99.9 out there too, across all those digital streaming platforms. And of course, out there too. Pam, appreciate you tuning in out there on the YouTube channel, all that good stuff out there. Super cool songs. Make sure you go, guys. You guys go get your copy out there to download and stream out there. And of course, we got to talk about, you guys coming on. We appreciate the support for CRS 2025. You got a visitor there. Look at that. Hey.
She's like scratching my leg the whole time. I'm like, all right, you can come up finally.
Well, tell people, I know she probably has been on the show before, but tell people who this lovely, lovely pet is.
This is my little senior. This is Roxy, and I've had her oh yes. Are you showing everyone your beautiful teeth? Yeah, with the horrible smelling breath.
They all love it. In fact, a side note, the other day when we got the 4 or 5 inches of snow down here, my husky went outside. I'm gonna have to send you a photo. I took an action shot of her like running through the snow with it falling, and like the front paw came up. I mean, it's amazing. Like you can't even make that up. And I was at my door. It was so cold to go outside and actually take the photo. But she was coming back to me knowing I was calling her to come in, it was time to eat and whatever. And so front paw went up and the snow was falling just over the background. It was amazing.
Huskies love snow. That's like their happy place right there.
I told her, I said, you're right in your element, no doubt about it. Their name is Sky. And I said, man, you're back in Alaska where the origination of those Huskies took place, the Siberian ones, and of course all the great dogs out there too. I'm like, why are you in Texas? How did you find me? Well, she did. And I love my dog for her. She's 15 years old now.
Oh, mine too. There you go.
15. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess people are living longer. Pets are living longer. That's a good sign, right? No doubt.
I'm happy for it. I know she had like a little health scare a couple months ago, and I was like, she's dying. She wasn't dying. She had a cold. And, like 3 vet visits later, trying all these blood tests, trying to save her life. They're like, yeah, she has a cold. Like, thanks, Roxy. That's fun.
Thanks,
I just spent way too much money now.
Well, I know what you're not only a fantastic musician, but you're out there too. This novel, I love it. International pop star again, Olivia Rox joining us here. The Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Again, KKTC True Country 99.9. And actually get ready for February because we're going back to a place we've been. We'll leave that there as a tease you can find over the next few weeks. Olivia knows what I'm talking about, but a place we've already been, a radio station. Looks like we're headed back to it coming up in February. It's worldwide famous. I'll give you a clue right there. But I love this. The fact is that you put together not only a great album such as super cool songs, but you also have become an author. And I want to get the inspiration behind this too, because book 1 is out there, The Accidental Tourist and Its Adventures in Time. And I love this. Get your copy across all the platforms. Now we'll be showing this a lot at Country Radio Seminar. And, of course, have it on our table as a proud sponsor there, Olivia Rox Music for CRS 2025. Tell us about just the inspiration behind this book. And I know this is book 1 of what's to come. And I know you're excited about the next phase of this project. And I want to know the whole story. Lay it on us.
Well, okay. So here you have how much time do we have? No, I'm just kidding. I'm going off on it. No. I started writing this book a while ago, and I've always been a writer. So I write my songs. I've always written stories too. I would walk around with a little journal and writing my novels, which sucked when I was little, but it was a kid's, all right, I'm writing my book. I'm an author. But now I'm actually an author. Now I'm actually a published author, which is really cool. This book literally went through so many different phases. I started writing little bits about it when I was really little. And then I scrapped that. And then about, it's crazy, but actually 8 years ago, this iteration of this book I started writing it. And it was really cool. It actually came about in a dream, which was too realistic. I woke up and I had to sit there and write for 4 hours, just literally bullet points of what the dream was, because it was so realistic and so unbelievable. Basically if I was asleep for 8 hours, it was an 8-hour dream. That's how insane it was. And it was literally the book, all in a dream. There it is. This is what I have to write. And so I started writing it. And then you do that thing where you convince yourself that nobody wants to hear it. Music people do this too. We're like, it's not good enough. I can do better. And who would want to read a sci-fi book about time travel? There's no one like that in the world, right? Yeah. So I convinced myself no one would want to read it. I put it on the shelf for a couple years, but it was stewing in my mind. And I was so busy with everything else that I was doing, with my first music releases, and I was on Idol, and like all this stuff was going on, that I sort of put it on the back burner for a little bit. And then when I finally went back to it, it was, I think, like right around COVID time. And I sat there and I read the first couple chapters I had written, and I was like, all right, this is it. I need to finish this book. And I powered through it. Couple months later, it was done. And then it was like the process of editing and sending it to people and working on the illustrations. I did the illustrations, and it was a lot, but it all came together and it finally got published. And it's also pretty unique because it's the first sci-fi book to ever feature a full soundtrack written and recorded by the author, which comes out in the summer, by the way, and I can't wait for you to hear it. But I teased one of the songs from it in, I think, November. Always, I released Always, and that's the book. So that's kind of how it came about. But
I love it. So Amazon and your website, I would imagine, 2 places.
Website is probably the best choice because I can sign it for you, and I do the cute little, we do packaging and everything. But yes, it's on Amazon, it's on Barnes & Noble, it's everywhere.
There you go. Like I said, Adventures in Time, and it's book 1, The Accidental Tourist, from international pop singer Olivia Rox. Make sure you guys, I'm not even halfway through it now. I'm going to pick it up over these next few weeks, and when I have some downtime in Nashville on my plane, the flights and everything out there too. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a book in my suitcase. That
nice.
It's just, again, it's different, but it's great, and there's some really cool things with sci-fi and discovery of just great things, and it just takes your mind on just a great trip from what I've read so far. I can't wait to dive back into it. Well, I'll tell you what, I know the guitar's ready for another performance coming up there too. You mentioned that song, I Told You Not to Fall in Love with Me, is on the album Super Cool Songs. Let's hear this performance. We'll take a quick time out for our friends over at the CadenGordonShow.com, today's best country mix. Come right back. More with Olivia Rox, KKTC, True Country 99.9, and our friends out there, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Stay tuned. More coming up.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
And, of course, we're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, February 19th and 21st. The Backstage Pass live there at the Omni Hotel. All the great artists, too, as well. And just to name a few of these artists that are coming on this great radio show here, too, coming up. Anna Christina Cash, the Oak Ridge Boys, T. Graham Brown. We're going to have Brooke Ellingworth, Lucas Hogue, Taylor Austin Dye, Skip Ewing, a huge songwriter out there, too. Wrote a lot of hits for Randy Travis. And, of course, out there, the group Exile, international, also just Australian pop country artist Lily Grace, Shenandoah, the great John Barry, T.G. Shepherd, Daryl Worley coming by, our good friend Daryl Worley, and, of course, Allie Colleen and Carrie Brockwell. So many great talent coming by for that week there at CRS, February 19th to 21st in Nashville, Tennessee, Country Radio Seminar 2025. I want to thank Christy Watkins and, of course, our sponsors out there, Sandy June Music, Olivia Rox Music, and, of course, out there, too, our friend Clay Airy at Clay Airy Music, and, of course, out there, the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. Well, it's super cool songs, and I told you not to fall in love with me, so we can't fall in love with her. But you know what? She's going to sing it for us here on the Backstage Pass. My friend, it's all yours.
Thank you. And I have my dad being cameraman right now. Thank you.
Horrible cameraman.
So, yeah, this is called I Told You Not to Fall in Love with Me.
I've been in your shoes.
let my heart break. I've had a few too many accounts. So when you ask me to trust you, I don't trust no one. I've given up years. I told you not to fall in love with me. I told you I would break your heart. I told you not to fall in love with me. 'Cause leaving is the hardest part. Now you tell me you love me, and no one sets and sounds. But I've waited forever to hear somebody say those words. But I can't help feel it's unrequited. Your heart is hurt. Maybe I should leave you for the reflection of love gets worse. I told you not to fall in love with me. I told you I would break your heart. I told you not to fall in love with me. How can you stop once you start? I told you not to fall in love with me. I told you I would break your heart. I told you not to fall in love with me. Leaving is the hardest part.
And what a great cameraman you have right there, too. Back here on the backstage pass, Olivia Rox here. Again, OliviaRox.com. And, of course, check out super cool songs across all those digital streaming platforms. A couple of great performances today, too. You know, I believe you released, too, I believe it was called Just a Girl and Her Guitar. How about Just a Girl and Her Piano? How about that?
You know what's funny is I actually recorded some stuff for that. That's funny that you say that. Your album's
love it too. See, get her titles now for songs and stuff like that too. But I just said it was Just a Girl and Her Piano right there too as well. And I think the last time we had probably talked was that the 2022 version of an Olivia Rox Christmas, which I thought was really cool. And I put that on the playlist to kind of play around the Christmas tree and all that good stuff right there too, which I loved it. 9 great songs with Jingle Bells and some of the Christmas classics. Oh Holy Night was on there too, and definitely. And my daughter, she loves listening to your Christmas music now. She's turning 5 in April of this year too. Another birthday coming up, so she starts kindergarten. She loves listening to your stuff, and again, just love all this great music. And guys, don't forget the books out there. Adventures in Time, The Accidental Tourist. It's book 1. Yeah, just book 1. Can't wait for the soundtrack and everything out there too. A proud sponsor, CRS 2025. Olivia Rox right there. Make sure you guys, OliviaRox.com. For that too, personalize those copies, and you're going to get lost in a novel that is just amazing. I love it so much there. You know, I want to ask you about another one off of here too. It was really cool, and it really caught my attention. Was Alter Ego. I think that's a really cool song that had just that vibe and that edge to it. Tell us about that one.
So that's my mom's favorite song on the album. And by the way, for any listeners with Adventures in Time, I wanted to mention just kind of the plot so you guys know what it is. It's a time travel book. It starts basically with this main character, Aurelia Quinn, who she gets sort of thrust into this new life of finding this time travel organization that's capitalized time travel in the future. So it's like kind of an adventure literally through through all of time, and it goes back in history and forwards into the future. So it's really cool. That's kind of what it's about for anyone wondering. It's sci-fi, little romance, little history, a little, different languages and stuff in there too, but alter ego. So alter ego, I wrote that in Versailles of all places, and I had just been in Paris. I was filming a music video there, and so we're like, okay, we're so close to Versailles. It's like 40 minutes away. We should go see it, right? It's so cool. Well, when I show up, the hotel somehow knew who I was, and they like upgraded me to this penthouse suite that had a piano in it. And I was over the moon about it. So I basically stayed up all night writing music. And 2 of the songs that are on the album, I wrote that night. And it's Just in Time and Alter Ego. So we had just been, we'd been in Paris. We were meeting up with my choreographer there and everything. And I don't know, it all sort of came to be. And I was thinking about, it was a combination of things, right, that I wrote it about. But for one, I was thinking about how, when I'm in front of the camera, when I'm, with my blonde hair and the pink and everything, I do sort of become this alter ego of myself, because, this is normal me. And then when you're like on TV, like, you know what I mean? Like on live, like American Idol type of TV, it's just a whole other, like something turns on and you become this different version of yourself. So, but I was thinking, wouldn't it be ironic? Because we've heard people say, oh, like that's my alter ego. Right. But it's kind of ironic if that's the real me and this is my alter ego. So I'm just her alter ego is how I wrote the song. There was like a little bit of a twist on that.
I like that. Well, the songs are edgy, man. They got some sass too out there too. And then there's some things out there too. I love it because you can put that in there. One like Hollywood. Let's talk about that one, which actually ended the album too, because there's an edge to that one too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was really a deep song that I wanted to include on there. By the way, have you seen this cuteness? Anyway, she's laying down now. So yeah, I wrote it actually. I was coming back from a friend's gig that I was going out to support. She's a comedian out here in LA. And so I was driving back. It was like 2 a.m. and I saw this old man who had to be probably 70 or 80 years old, just begging. And it started raining. Of all the times that it starts raining in LA, it started raining. And this poor guy is just sitting there asking for money at 2 a.m. in the canyon. And it just sort of struck me because, you go from this bright light thing where with this up and coming comedian who's trying so hard to, make it, and she's really doing big things and she's rocking it, but she's been through trials and I've been through trials, and we see this like this version of ourselves where we're trying to make it, and we're trying to tell people about what we do, and then you're going to these auditions with honestly pervs and people that you don't really want to associate with, and you're like, what am I doing? Am I selling out? So there was this whole thing going through my mind while I'm driving at 2 a.m. And I came back and I wrote Hollywood, kind of trying to encapsulate all of that, because there's a lot of different feelings in Los Angeles and Hollywood. It's not just like, oh, you go out and it's, you become famous. It's movie stars and glamour. It's a lot of hard work and people don't see that. So that's sort of pulling back the curtain on Hollywood a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely tells that authentic story, which I love songs that really dig into that and kind of do that. Let's have some fun here too, because you and I can sit here and talk about your music all day long, and I can carry on the conversation till the cows come home too. But I know it's getting close to dinner time for the both of us out there too at the same time, and I know your stomach probably says, I'm hungry, and but I always love having you back too, and you're always just one of my favorites and kind of the OG here on the show too.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah. But I got this question. We kind of switched some things up too, and I got some ideas just like you did too, because I always love to change up the shows and do something fresh and new. So I got this from that award-nominated Grammy winners out there too. They've been the band Sugarland in country music for a long time. Jennifer Nettles and Christian Bush. Now, Christian's doing a lot of cool things right now, writing his own music, putting out some new singles, things like that. And of course, Sugarland's still touring. So he was on with me the other day. Christian Bush was. We started talking a little bit about some songs and stuff like that too. So I'm going to take this into the wrestling industry now. So this may be something you've probably never been asked before, but I love watching that WWE just wrestling with friends and all the pay-per-views and all the stuff that they have. when they stream that. In fact, there's one coming up this weekend that's known as the Royal Rumble, that they have the 30 man, 30 women over the top rope.
Wow.
And of course, the last, individual standing goes on
Wait,
to
are you
WrestleMania.
asking me to be on this? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, here's what I'm getting at. 2 parts. So one, I'm thinking about trying to, so all these trips I make to Nashville now, being, I guess, on the big stage. Well, not where you're at, but at least trying to get on my own stage out there too. I'd like to start like the first backstage pass wrestling event with a ring and go through some things. Like I'd love to MC it, call the action, kind of get out there. So, and then the question would be, and it's been thrown at a few country stars. First, are you a fan of it? Any of those organizations? Have you watched it before, WWE?
You know what? I have not watched any of that stuff. The wrestling.
Okay.
I do some boxing, but I
Okay.
haven't watched it myself.
So if you could kind of get the choreography down, and we might now have some wrestlers who have worked in before, who are friends of mine in this industry, this whole music thing, including one, Mickey James, who I know very well, and her husband, actually, Nick Aldis, does the program Friday Night SmackDown. But if I can make some calls and get this thing done, we get the ring put up and all this. Of course, we get sponsors and all, whatever it takes to put it on. And I could call it with some of the broadcasters. I would love to do it because I'm a huge fan. But if there's anybody in the pop music industry that you would want to wrestle, male or female, or in a tag match, and they taught you the choreography on what to do and how to do it, like coming out of the locker room, up the steps, the entrance music, walking down the ramp, engaging with fans, getting a microphone like this one and talking into it. And sometimes you're like, either you're the hero or the heel, taught you all the wrestling moves, how to get in the ring. Who would you, because you box now, I knew that too. Who would you wrestle in the pop industry or country, and why? And tell me what would be like your finishing move, like the move before you get 1, 2, 3. Because somebody said they get on the top rope, they would fly off and like drop the elbow.
Oh my gosh!
The pin 1, 2, 3. Who would you wrestle? What would be your finishing move?
Oh gosh. Okay, it's gonna be Shawn Mendes. We're gonna get in the ring, and what would be my finishing move? Oh man, like a roundhouse or something. Like,
okay, I like that.
I don't want to like also injure someone.
Well,
like,
again, we know it's the choreography. We understand. Of course, I know a lot of wrestling fans. Oh, this is real. This is real. Well, hey, sometimes they can get hurt doing this, but hey, if you've ever seen any of those documentaries,
if they have
I don't want to spoil it for wrestling
aerial
fans.
arts rig, I'll just like climb up it and then like drop. I used to do
but
aerial.
There was a lady back in the 90s, and I want to say maybe Mickey James did this too. I don't remember, but Trish Stratus, when she did this for a while, she was an international Canadian wrestler, and then she got huge in WWE, but she did something called the chick kick. It was like a roundhouse.
Nice.
It's kind of a cool move. I thought it was a put the opponents away too. So I just kind of thought, and you probably never been asked that on probably a TV show or radio show, have you?
I was like, "Where is this going?" No, I'll hold my own. I got this.
I know you can. I'll be scared to get in the ring with you, no doubt, because I had Taekwondo training for about 6 or 8 years, but I did not.
No, I'm nowhere near that. No. I'm like, yay, fun. Exercise. I'm not that good.
Well, it's always good to have fun out there too, as well. I love it so much. All right, any kind of I guess the places you mentioned, the travel and getting stuff out there too, with all the new stuff you got going on. Any kind of new dishes that were cooked over the holidays? Anything, maybe a takeout thing or something that kind of blew your mind when it came to food? Let's stay in the food category. Anything new you've tried lately?
Oh, I've been really getting into cooking lately. I've made some really good pastas, and I've sort of started experimenting with adding lentils to like almost everything, which is maybe not a good thing, but they're so good. And so I'll make like these risotto sort of style pastas with rice and stuff, and then I'll add in some lentils, and sometimes I'll like I seem to add egg to a lot of things too. Like I made this grilled cheese, but it was like a gourmet grilled cheese that I put egg and I put bacon and like it was almost like a BLT sort of, but it was like a grilled cheese, a lot of like heavy cheeses. And man, that thing, I made it for my parents and that was gone in like 5 seconds. I don't think we even like actually made it to the table. We were just like, okay, we'll just, start getting our, sparkling water and whatever. And by the time we got to the table, there was like 1 bite left.
Well, if you had me over too, there would have been probably no bites, because anything that you make, I know you love cooking. I would have, like I said, eat it up, no doubt about it too, and put that away. Just like the music is so good, and of course the new book out there at oliviarox.com, and of course super cool songs across all the digital streaming platforms wherever you guys find music out there, choose to stream. And one more time, we're going to put it up there too because we're going to put it up a lot over the next few weeks there too. It's a novel by Olivia Rox out there, Adventures in Time. Book 1, The Accidental Tourist. Make sure you guys get your personal copy. Boy, that blends in well with my logo too. It really does. I like that. It's good stuff. Backstage Pass in conjunction with Adventures in Time, just a fun novel out there too, and some really cool stories with time travel. You heard her talk about it here. Hey, I always appreciate you swinging by, giving us a line too as well to talk about all the great music. Thank you for coming on as an official sponsor for CRS 2025. I want to thank Tamara for setting everything up. My heart and prayers and everything has been with you guys going through all those tragic wildfires out there too. Glad to see you guys were okay, and I hope all of California is going to recover from this. Speedy recovery. If we can do anything here from the Backstage Pass, let us know out there at the same time. But support the Red Cross and all the different organizations out there that are helping for the recovery in the beautiful state of California. I appreciate you always coming on, showing us some love, and hey, continued success going forward. Looking forward to catching up again real soon, no doubt.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Brandon. I really appreciate you. And let's do this again with the soundtrack that comes out in the summer.
We got a lot more to look forward to, no doubt about it. So make sure you guys go download super cool songs, and of course, the Adventures in Time, book 1, The Accidental Tourist. I'm getting back to reading it again tonight when I have some solid time. We put the kid to bed and all that good stuff. We get out there and have some more fun with that. Make sure you guys check out oliviarox.com, and of course out there too as well. We'll be live from the Omni Hotel coming up February 19th to 21st, coming out there live at CRS 2025. And of course, one more quick timeout. We're coming back to wrap up the show again, presented by our friends over at the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix, KKTC True Country 99.9. Hang tight.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
And of course, that's going to do it for us here today. Olivia Rox here, our guest. And of course, great week coming up over the next few weeks. Brooke Ellingworth coming up tomorrow, a fantastic UK country artist we get to talk to. And of course, more great shows. Bronwyn Keith Hines, she was on the CMA Awards coming up this Friday, and a whole lot more. So keep it tuned here at KKTC True Country 99.9, again, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. My friend, always appreciate it. Again, continued success going forward, and we're going to be in touch very soon, no doubt.
Thank you so much. And I might be coming through Texas, so I'll have to come by.
Stop by and say hello. We may have one of those pop-up shows. And again, sorry to our friends out there in Louisiana. We could not get over to Lake Charles the other night with Frank Foster. We were going to be out there at the Golden Nugget doing one of these shows live again in Lake Charles, Louisiana. But Frank's bus actually broke down in Alabama. So his tour bus, so the show is now rescheduled to March 29th out there, frankfoster.com. For more information, make sure you guys check that out too. frankfoster.com or frankfostermusic.com. That website, of course, check him out on social media. March 29th will be live at the Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. The Backstage Pass Road Show. If you see a bus pull up, 38-foot Allegro Bay Tiffin Motorhome 2007, you know it's me getting off there with all the great equipment. Appreciate the sponsors. Again, Clay Airy Music and, of course, Olivia Rox Music, Sandy June Music, and our friends at the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. More great music coming up here. KKTC True Country 99.9. We'll see you soon on the flip side. God bless. Take care.